So you're thinking about moving to Nashville, Tennessee, and you want to know what the weather is actually really like? Well, we relocated to Nashville in 2013, and so I've been through about 10 different seasons. So I've seen it really, really hot, it not so hot. I've seen it snow, I've seen it ice, I've seen all of that. So stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Nashville, Tennessee channel. If you're looking to learn everything about what it's like to live here, eat here, sleep here, play here, and what the weather is like, then click the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I do new videos. I've been getting a ton of people lately that are reaching out about making that move to the Nashville area. I absolutely love it. So if that's you, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and let's talk about getting you moved here to Nashville. As I mentioned, we relocated in 2013 to Nashville. We've went through a bunch of the different seasons, so I'm just going to start you off with the season that we just passed, which was fall. And fall, typically in the Nashville area, it's really nice. It was hot during the summer and humid, and the temperature dropped, so it's typically in the 50 to 70 degree range. Years are going to vary. From some years it'll be in the 80s and 90s in the fall time, but right now it's amazing fall. So typically we get a leaf changing colors and the leaves all fall off the trees, which is amazing to see. Lots of different beautiful bright colors. It seems like we get around 2 to 3 weeks of really nice fall weather in the Nashville area. So typically, it doesn't last very long, but it's really nice because it was hot and humid. One super cool thing is typically mid-October-ish, you no longer have to mow your yard or start trimming trees or any of that. You just have to rake up the leaves that fall typically in November. But it's really nice that you no longer have to maintain your yard. So you're not paying either the yard person to come and do it, or you're not having to do it yourself, or whoever you have manage your yards. But that's a cool thing that you don't have to deal with until April or May, whenever the grass starts to decide to start growing again. So, um, so that's your fall weather. It's typically really nice in fall. Winter time, we've had lots of different winters here in the Nashville area. We've had the worst winter that we had. It snowed and iced, and I want to say we had 12 inches of ice or so on the road. I wish that I had skated out on the ice on the street. I had friends that did it that I played ice hockey with, and they have videos of them, which would have been awesome. I should have done it. I guess it was just too lazy to go out there and do it. But for 3 days, we were stuck in our subdivision because we couldn't get out of our driveway. Our driveway was sloped towards the house, which I recommend trying to get a driveway that slopes away from the house or it's flat. But our driveway sloped towards the house and our car was just stuck in ice. Well, after about the third day, my sons got some of our big plastic tubs, filled them up with hot water, took them out and poured them in front of the tires, or behind the tires actually, but either way, towards the street, made these little ruts so we could get the car out because the rest of the subdivision was pretty nice. We were just stuck in the driveway. So we did that, and then we drove to the store and they got some drinks and snacks and stuff, and that it was just a fun time, something they'll probably never forget that they actually did, hopefully ever in their life. But it was just one of the fun times. And I think because we had never gotten stuck in the home ever, because living in California, it didn't snow where we were, so you never got stuck inside. Well, just hanging out at home, we'd made sure we went to the store and bought plenty of food. One thing you make note, whenever they mention that it's going to snow, everybody will rush to the store and buy all the bread and the milk. And if you know why they do that, comment below. I still haven't figured that out, why they want bread and milk, but they do. So that was probably our worst winter, and it was like 2 degrees to 7 degree temperature range for like a couple days there. We had another year where it snowed. I want to say about a foot of snow, and we were in Spring Hill at the time, and I didn't have a 4-wheel drive vehicle at the time. Big mistake. which really only needed it a few times that we've lived there in 10 years. I think 2 or 3 times we've needed all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. We now have all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, so it's never going to be an issue again. However, I had a buddy that came over in his Gladiator because my daughter had to go to the airport. She was flying out to Utah to go check out the University of Utah. So he came in and drove us to the airport. He was having a blast because he was on a Facebook group where they would go and pull people that got stuck and slid off the road and that sort of thing. But he came and drove her up to the airport. So that was awesome that he was able to do that. But the typical snow time of most years is somewhere around a 1/4 inch of snow. Just enough snow that it snows, but not enough snow that you can really do much. Sometimes it'll snow an inch or two, and then you can sled for the first hour or two of the morning, or a few times down the hills. You'll see people out there, but for the overall, you're just not going to get enough snow in the Nashville area. It just doesn't snow enough. The normal temperature range, anywhere from 20 to 40 degree range. It's typically not more than a week or two where it's in the 20s. So I would say it's more like 40 to 50 degree range. I want to say typically I cannot wear shorts maybe 3 or 4 times a year where it gets too cold that I can't wear shorts. Otherwise, my wife will bug me not to wear shorts, but I can get away with wearing them temperature wise. It's really nice as far as winters go. Doesn't get super cold. We also have some things that happen in December, January, February, where it'll get up to the 80s and 90s, which is really nice and something kind of cool that it was cold and then it's hot, which is nice so that you can enjoy that. Spring in the Nashville area, spring was always one of my favorite times of year because it's no longer cold for sure, but it's not typically humid yet. And the grass is starting to grow. So I have to start dealing with that. But the trees all start to bloom, and they have some cool trees that have white. They bloom white, and they look amazing for that couple weeks where they're blooming, and then they change into whatever their normal color or whatever they're going to have on the trees. That leads us into summer, and summer is my least favorite time of year. I remember when we moved to Nashville, it was, I guess, late spring or summer. It was in June, and it was I think the third week, and it was like 90 degrees all week long, 98 degrees the day that we had to unload and load stuff in the house. And then the next week, it was like 80 degrees. It was just awful. And if we could have moved the next week, that would have been awesome. But you never know with the weather what things are going to be like. Well, what's funny is we had some neighbors and friends that lived near us, and they were moving out of state, and they decided to move during the summertime, and it was like 95 degrees the day that they moved. Well, the next day it was like 82 degrees if they just moved one day later. So if you are moving, you might want to reach out to me and let me know, because if we're moving, you probably want to move a different day than we move so that it's not that hot. So again, weather is one of the frequently asked questions that I get asked all the time. What is the weather like when we're helping people relocate here to the area? So hopefully some of these things will help you understand the weather a little bit more. But if you have more questions, either leave them in the comments below or shoot me a text, and we can talk about the weather or anything you want to know about the Nashville area. Until next time, I'm out.